If you want to be a calm, confident entrepreneur and go from erratic, compulsive, maybe a lot of fear and anger, which is causing outbursts, then in this video, I'm going to be going through 10 really important areas for you to focus on. And by the way, I've been through this journey myself. In fact, I'll tell you one story. I was living back in the UK and there was a TV producer and I was hoping to get on TV. And then when something didn't happen that I wanted, I completely blew up on the phone with her. And because of that, I lost the opportunity to do what I wanted to do. So I completely understand, and I don't know what situation you're in particular, but I've had multiple different areas. Now, this also plays into our own personal lives, maybe outbursts with loved ones or family members. And a lot of this I'm going to go through because I understand the pain, and I also understand the transformation that can happen if you start to shift and move through this. So number one, which is, I would say, the biggest overlying point that I want to make here, which is it's a lot about the nervous system. And so we need to start to understand that things in our environment impact that, right? So you need to know the things environmentally that trigger your nervous system to go into that fight or flight. So, for example, even not being organized can impact the way that you feel, right? So that's number one. Make sure that you just start to clear out things that are triggering you. These are just things that maybe you see all the time, but you just don't, move them away or organize them. But it's always that kind of trigger, and that kind of just very subtle, but it's also something that can plague us. Number two, which is healthy communication with boundaries. You would have probably heard the term, which is it's not about what's on the surface, it's what's happening below, right? So it's not about the toilet paper. So in our evolution as entrepreneurs, we need to start to understand that if we actually communicate healthily but with presence, we don't need to, go into these massive outbursts because ultimately we want resolve. For example, maybe you're in a situation where you're trying to work, but someone keeps on interrupting you, right? Maybe you're creating these outbursts, but you need to start to understand how to communicate in an effective way. And that's something that I'll, teach you moving forward. Number three, which is resolving trauma. If you've had life events happen in the past, where, for example, you've been bullied. I had a conversation today with an entrepreneur who's been bullied. I've also been through that myself. Or you've gone through abuse or any of these number of things. Small triggers are going to set you off, which then is the opposite of being calm and confident because you go into this erratic behavior. So understanding that you can resolve that trauma, right, through somatic healing, through different processes, right? Recognizing in the moment when you're set off, that's my younger self showing up. For example, the 11-year-old that was bullied. Just that awareness when you're triggered to recognize the real root of it is really important. The next one, number four, is understanding KEIs. So in big business, we have KPIs, right? Key performance indicators. Well, when it comes to our own emotional intelligence and developing that as an entrepreneur, these key emotional indicators. So going back to the last one, maybe you see something on social media that triggers you. Maybe it's someone that, a common one for entrepreneurs who haven't started marketing themselves yet is that they see other people that they respect and that triggers them because they want to do that, but they struggle to do it themselves. So writing down a list daily of the things that trigger you to go out of that state of calm and confident is really important. The other thing which I want to quickly share here, which is you have this false confidence, which we present and a lot of people present, but the important confidence is the intrinsic confidence, is that centered, grounded place that you can get to. The next one, which is developing self-awareness. In reality, if you want to go to calm, confident as an entrepreneur, you have to ramp up self-awareness. And the way to do that is a number of ways. I'll be talking about it in my next tip, but one of the ways that we get self-awareness is through others. So a conversation with your partner to say, hey, I know that I'm showing up in this way, which isn't my best self. can you let me know in a kind way, not shouting at me, right? So that you can recognize when you're in that moment when the ego, the false self, is active, right? That part of you that you don't like, which is probably why you're here watching the video. A big part, so this is number 6 in actually developing self-awareness, but as a great tool for you to use, is meditation. But not meditation, for example, when you're stressed out, but actually bringing it to the morning before 9 o'clock so that you shift your state of mind. So what meditation does is when you close your eyes and you connect with yourself and you do it for long enough and you build that up through progression, what it does is it relaxes your nervous system, alters your state so that you're thinking differently, and it shifts your energy. By the way, if you want 7 meditations, a 7-day process to go through, check out the link in the description to the Super High Performance community, and I will support you on that journey, because sometimes we don't know where to start when it comes to that. But the point I want you to take here is shifting that meditation from being reactionary, reacting, to actually being conscious, right? I'm going to do it each morning so that I'm less likely to be reacting to certain situations, because it's not about a morning routine, it's about an energetic routine, which I'll talk about later. The next one, number 7, which is putting self-care on your calendar. I'm sure that you've got lots of tasks to do for your business, which go on your calendar as things that you need to commit to and get done because it yields a result. So with self-care, which again is about relaxing the nervous system, the body, that could be, for me, playing pickleball, could be meditation, could be going for a massage, whatever that self-care is, where you're connecting with yourself, with your being with yourself without distractions. That's what self-care is. You want to put that on your calendar, especially in the times when you know that you're stressed out the most. So for example, if you're watching this, really towards the end of the week, I'm just so overwhelmed and stressed out, then slot that self-care in there and commit it. And if you've got an assistant, get them to book it, whatever you need to do. The next one, which is to delegate. Why is that on a list of things for helping you to become confident? Well, when we have things that we don't like to do, that doesn't bring us energy, that doesn't make us feel good, but we still do them because we need control, we need to start to recognize that and pass that off to someone that can do it better than us. I spent time with Richard Branson, and one of the constant questions he get is, how are you so successful? And his answer to that is, I find people better than me. Right? So think about that control and how that control causes, you holding on to things that you shouldn't do, that tightness, this is really in your body. And so you start to release that, you'll start to release the tension that, you can start to focus on your zone of genius and the things that you're great at. The next one is number 9, I wrote how energy impacts thoughts. So if you're sick, I'm just using an example. If you're sick, your body is in this survival mode, and what you will recognize when you're feeling sick is that your thoughts aren't great. It's not about optimism or what things you can achieve and how great life is. You go inward, right? Because you're in survival, and that's because your body is using energetic resources to heal you. Now, with that being said, recognizing that when you shift your energy, for example, going to the gym or meditating, right, and anything that you do that shifts your energy, cold showers as an example, what that does is it's shifting energy. And because of that energy shift, and you're on a different plane energetically, right, you've tuned into a different radio station, essentially, then you need to recognize that energy impacts your thinking. And that's why I constantly say it's not about a morning routine. It's what fits you best in terms of an energetic routine. And that's why I put meditation in the morning, because it shifts energy. What are the other things that I track and measure with my clients when it comes to energy? Fitness, which is huge. Nutrition. People often forget that what we put in our body impacts our energy, because if it's energetic foods, if it's live foods, it's going to really help us. Sleep, which is absolutely massive. I use Whoop as a great thing because it tells me when to go to bed, because a key thing for entrepreneurs is, for a lot of people, you ignore the internal signal of I'm tired, I need to go to bed, and you just continue to work through that. That creates burnout, and then you're in this cycle of following days. You've got really a top priority energetically is sleep. And then the final one, which is really tracking that, right? Tracking sleep, tracking nutrition, because we need to get streaks. And sometimes we need accountability for that, right? If you're someone that's like, Simon, I know I don't implement the healthy habits and I get so far, I do 2 or 3, and then I'm back to my normal habits, and you want to get things that stick, check out link in the description to the super high performance group. You'll get the quest 1, which is conscious impact. You'll go through a series of questions, and then you'll move into the habit shifting, where I'll give you those meditations, give you the training, so you can actually build up the mental streaks, that neuroplasticity that's so important. And what's going to happen over time is that you're not occasionally going to be calm, confident. You're going to start to wire that in as your default, which is going to be huge. Let me know in the comments which of these 10 you'd like me to dive into a little bit deeper, whether that's sleep, whether that's emotional intelligence, healthy communication. I'd love to know so I can make another video for you. And I'll see you at another training. Take care.